17 members of an Ohio-based Christian missionary group were kidnapped over the weekend in Haiti. They're being held by a violent gang. U.S. officials are working with the Haitian authorities to secure the release of 12 adults, 5 kids who are visiting an orphanage. The gang is
they're
known...
American missionaries?
Yes,
Okay.
Ohio-based.
Oh, sorry,
they are known as 400 Mawozo, and they control the area where the orphanage is. They're notorious for kidnappings and murders, including the abduction of 5 priests and 2 nuns this year. The country's also seen a rise in kidnappings since the assassination of the president in July. And I also heard people very, let's just say, discouraged from going to the police. So this stuff often goes unreported.
My feeling is I want to always go to these nations and go, what fucking year is it again? Is it 2021? China just fired a supersonic missile. You guys are abducting people with machetes. This shit is 500 years old. You guys gotten priests and missionaries, and you're abducting them. It's so weird that we're simultaneously sort of living in the future and the deep past, all in the same place, all at the same time. Shatner's going to the moon, and they're sharpening their machetes in Haiti.
It's insane. But yeah, you're right. It would be weird trying to explain how all of this is happening at once,
Well, they never... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, this is like the cartels in Mexico and stuff it's listen, this is what they do. This is to them, kidnapping this is a business.
Right, it's bread and butter.
So you got to be prepared when you go there. Remember we had the pirates? And it was you got to have some, weapons or somebody to protect you. I mean, bless the nuns and people trying to help, but in reality... It's like danger. I had a friend, he was on tour in Africa, and they said, we got to go a different way because the rebels got the road. And his first question was why am I here if the rebels got the road? Why? Yeah. Wait a minute. If you call a promoter, listen, rebels got the road, we're going to go ahead and cancel this show.
Well, you know what they didn't, the part they missed in all the sci-fi futuristic stuff from the 50s and the 60s, everyone had a steady diet of movies and books and things like that. And there was going to be this thing where the future, space travel and supersonic commercial airlines, and people would dress in these, Mylar jumpsuits, and we'd eat our food would be in a pill, Thanksgiving would be one pill, and Easter would be a separate pill. And so there was future.
Right.
And so everyone sort of thought, and no one ever really broke it down, which is future, but not for everybody. Other people are going to be living like it's the 14th century. They just want the future. Right. So once there's supersonic travel, then it's supersonic travel for everyone. And once we get the iPhone, then it's the iPhone for everybody. It's everything for everybody. They never really did a point where it's Jeff Bezos is going to be living, he'll be living in the future, and then we can go back to the Middle East, and they're going to be stoning women for looking at guys that weren't married to or something. We didn't get the part where half the world
wasn't on board.
We're going to be further back than the time that we're discussing the future in the 60s.
Right.
Do you ever think, and this is something from the movies, that it's literally going to take an attack from aliens from outer space for the whole planet to get on board? We're always this, that, and it's wait a minute, now we're being attacked from outer space. I think everyone's going to have to get involved.
I hate to be Brian and shit on your point. I used to believe that, but now I truly believe it'll just be a bunch of finger pointing and sacrificing. Take that guy. Oh,
really?
I love debating. It's are they really aliens or
we'll give you this island. No, I don't know. It's not even the world. Just here in the United States, you could just travel this country and cover 100 years.
Oh yeah. Easily.
In technology and whatever
even
else.
hairstyles. If you think about it.
It's funny, Alonzo's mind went the exact same place as mine, which is the Captain Phillips, the pirates you were saying.
Somali
pirates. Because it feels like whenever Americans get kidnapped, it ends very badly for the kidnappers. Is it just risk reward? If we pull this off, it's going to be, double the payoff. I imagine locals get kidnapped all the time in some of these countries. Or are they just not that smart and they'll just kidnap whoever's in front of them?
Well, I think there's a kind of catch-22 of kidnapping, which is if you wanted to kidnap me when I was 12, there'd be no bounty. My dad would be bullet dodge, keep him as long as you like.
How many raisins to get him back?
No problemo. But you want to kidnap Sinatra's kid. Well, now you got a bounty,
Right.
but you also have a guy with money and connections
Right.
who's going after you as
Yeah,
well.
and-
So it's a little catch-22-y. You don't get anything for the locals. They have no bounty. They're not worth anything.
Like Getty's grandson
Yep.
from the movie.
With the ear.
yeah.
But you also there's like kidnapping insurance for
Oh, yeah.
business people. And I'm sure the insurance company keeps some mercenaries on call. Like, wait a minute, we ain't paying out this $10 million. Let's send, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like I found out in the last forest fire, did you notice that there are private fire departments?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
yeah.
I had no idea. Like, yeah, if you're super rich and you have like a $20 million house, the insurance company's like, oh no, we're gonna put out that fire
For sure.
we ain't paying for that
Some
house.
of the,
so I'm sure that's how they do it. They probably got some mercenaries ready. Like, we ain't paying this settlement.
That
Go
makes
get them
sense.
back.
Some of the higher end wineries in Napa, and they have that fire up there. They got their own fire, brigades or whatever.
I'll
Plump
give
Jack.
you a sort of rich man, poor man version of your own private fire department. One of those kick-ass pumps you throw in your pool.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody who lives up in the hills or lives in a dangerous area should put themselves down $1,700. I mean, this thing can't run off a 9-volt battery. It's got to put out some volume. But throw that shit in your pool, you got 50,000 gallons right there. You can
Sweet.
wet that roof down all night.
That's a great idea. Does it matter if it's chlorinated?
No.
Okay, that's good.
No. It all works.
Well, you talked about Shatner, and I'm glad you did, because Shatner and Takei have had this like long-standing beef, and it is not going anywhere. So this happened, of course, after William Shatner went to space recently. This started when Takei told Page Six that Shatner is, quote, boldly going where other people have gone before.
Caddy.
And he said that Shatner was only a guinea pig, 90 years old, and it's important to find out what happens. So 90 years old is going to show a great deal more on the wear and tear of the human body, so he'll be a good specimen to study. Shatner got pissed. He tweeted, "Don't hate George. The only time he gets press is when he talks bad about me." Signed, Bill the Pig, the pig emoji. He added, he claims 50 years ago, if you want to know where this all came from,
Yes.
he claims 50 years ago, I took away a camera angle that denied him 30 more seconds of primetime TV. I'm giving it back to him now by letting him spew his hatred for the world to see.
That's the origins of...
That's what Bill thinks it is. I think it was probably the Dueling Divas back in the day.
I got to say this. I think if you said to me, you can make a decision, which is Star Trek never happened, or it does. Like you gave me the choice. I'd go never happened. I've gotten almost zero enjoyment from that franchise. I've been hearing about it. I had Trekkies like when I was in high school and stuff.
Spin-offs.
Everyone's writing a tell-all book, and they're laying down a Beatles
That's
album and
interesting.
stuff like that. More harm than good. Takei is an insufferable douchebag. I wouldn't even know that guy's name if I had to do fucking Celebrity Apprentice with that guy. He told me about the Japanese-American internment camp 7,000 times. You get locked in a van with that guy, that's all he talks about. Jesus Christ. So at this point, more harm than good
Patrick
is what
Stewart
I'm saying.
would have been a Shakespearean actor, and that would have been it.
That's
You were
right.
fine.
yeah.
I love that it all goes back to like one shot. Like that is so believable. You know, with actors,
Right.
that is
Right.
so believable that you messed up one shot, and I'm gonna hate you for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure that's how Bill sees it. I maybe it was 2 shots. I don't know, but I think they were probably the Dueling Divas on set.
You
Don't
know
you?
who's
I can see
who's
that.
upset? Who's the chick who played the green alien that he banged? Like
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
knows he banged the
Right.
green chick, but
Right.
no one knows who she is. She should be mad. She should be mad.
True.
She's like, I was the green chick, right?
That's
no
right.
publicity,
TV
no
history.
fame, nothing. Forget
Yeah.
about George Takei. Sulu, we know Sulu.
Yeah.
Right.
Who was the green chick?
I don't know. Max Baddock. I'm happy to report I have no fucking idea because I saw that shit when I was 9 and went, this is schlock. Like, it seemed schlocky when I didn't know from schlock.
Right.
I went right back to Speed Racer.
But wasn't it only like 2 or 3 seasons
It was like
originally, and then it's become a
Yes.
like
2.5. 3.
Yes.
biggest
Something
thing.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Speed Racer, the Chinese missile they were testing was called the Mach 5.
That was
Which,
his car.
That's the name of Speed's car.
Yeah.
The Mach 5.
Big
That's
fans.
Right. Mm-hmm.
She was a curvy alien.
Oh, we're looking at her, yeah.
I like it. I like the hair. I like the whole thing. So let's stay on the Shatner tip for one
The great thing about the aliens, it was always so funny. I always loved, like, if you watch Planet of the Apes and Heston meets the hot native chick, the village, speechless village chick, pure 60s out. Hair, bouffant, like 1969,
Amy
like
Winehouse eyeliner.
dead nuts on. And then you see like westerns from the 60s and all the chicks in the saloon are pop. It's like, and then the aliens are 1967, you know, like, well, what are the chances these cultures would have the exact same hairdo and eye treatments, you know, long lashes with the
pale lip.
What are the chances it'd
And
be
they
exactly,
all speak English.
Yeah,
The
exactly
entire
like
galaxy
us.
speaks English.
British English.
In our time.
Yeah. And you know how you always take a sign of the times as whatever the commercial is? I'm with you. I always take it as what period piece can you pick out something of the decade it was actually filmed in?
Right.
That's exactly it. So let's stay with Shatner for a hot second because Senator Elizabeth Warren had some things to say as well. She was nonplussed. After he blasted off with Bezos, Warren took a moment to remind people that the rich are getting a little too rich, in her opinion. She tweeted, "Giant corporations and billionaires have had a free ride for too long. Sometimes they take that ride all the way to outer space. They need to start paying their fair share." Warren had also criticized Bezos on the day that he went to space in July. She says it's time for Jeff Bezos to take care of business right here on Earth and pay his fair share in taxes.
Christ.
Look, this
Does
is
she have a Google Nerd Alert set up for Bezos? Like, oh, gotta tweet something.
Here's the deal. Bezos creates jobs and thus creates revenue, and Elizabeth Warren takes money. That's basically how it works. Now, everyone could shift over to her lane, except for if we did, then we'd have no fucking money. There's this crazy like attack on the producers versus the sort of takers and distributors, and she's a fucking take and distribute. And they always want to declare war because we're all so weak, you know. It's like, oh yeah, look at that guy. Like as if Bezos' dad started the company and gave it to him when he was 18 or something.
I get her point, but this isn't the place for that fight. Like there is a time when you're like, okay, you know, rich people aren't paying proportionate taxes or whatever, but if a billionaire wants to fly to outer space, like, go ahead. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just that's your weekend. Go ahead. We'll get back to fighting you on how much tax you pay in a different, you know, at a different time. It's like, I get your point, but it's a billionaire having, like, you got $1 billion. What else are you going to spend it on? Like, what are you going to do? So you want to go to outer space?
Yeah.
Like, go ahead.
And
Have
we all
fun.
like this. This
And
makes
when
all of us happy.
and also,
you know, while you're gone, we're going to change the tax laws while you're up there.
Yeah, I don't think.
When hey, you can fly to space. You know how much it's going to cost to land?
Well, also,
The docking fees went up.
That's right. Yeah, while you were gone.
the thing about these, first off, they're going to do whatever they have to do to avoid paying as much as they can avoid. We turn it into some sort of like moral decision. It's all business.
Right.
There's a code. And listen, Elizabeth, he's either breaking the law or he fucking isn't. You do the law. So if he's breaking the law, then by all means go after him. If he's not, then he's doing what we all do, which is try to keep as much of our own money as we possibly can. He's doing it on a huge scale, but that's what he's doing. Stop asking businesses to do the right thing. You lay out the code, they follow the code as best they can, and then they get around the code as best they can. That's how it works.
And
they change the code.
Yeah, on a grand scale, doesn't even begin to describe it. A watchdog group said that Amazon has secured $4.1 billion in tax breaks since 2000. But like you said, if that's their tax break, that's their tax break.
The way I look at it is, are you glad they exist or aren't you? Because you really get down to just a fundamental question, like, are they creating jobs? Like, yes. Are they creating infrastructure? Like, there's companies that build the warehouses and the trucks and the people who manufacture the trucks. They have to buy a fleet of trucks. Right. That's pretty good for Volvo, who are making the trucks. They're like on big picture, is it good that Jeff Bezos was born or bad? And my thing is, if it's good, then shut the fuck up.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say the thing about corporations, like that people forget, like a corporation, its only purpose is to make money.
Right.
Like that's why it exists, to make money. So don't expect it to do something moral. And it's like you said, what you have to do is you have to make it cheaper to pay taxes than to pay people that keep you from paying taxes. Because they got a whole team of accountants and lawyers to make sure they don't pay tax. So if it was cheaper, like if they could pay taxes and say, oh, that's less than paying these guys. But the way it works is now we're going to pay this team, like you say, to avoid $4 billion. Like if it costs you $200 million to avoid paying $4 billion,
money well spent
from a corporation, they're like, well, yeah, of course we're going to spend it. So. Yeah, you're right. It changed the law. It's not, don't expect the individual, because no individual's like, you know what? I got too much money laying around.
Well, and you don't incentivize them to go offshore. You lower the corporate whatever, they'll stay here. People don't want to go offshore, but they're a corporation. Right. And by the way, they're a corporation, just like we always talk about. Subaru makes cars for lesbians and puppies, and they make attack helicopters for the Japanese Air Force. So
wide range.
They don't. Amazon's got the big smile.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
From A to Z.
Because what they do is they're big, faceless corporation who's in the business of making money, but they're trying to, hey, come on, it's a smile.
And
now.
to bring it all full circle, do you know who else is really happy that Jeff Bezos and Amazon exist? China.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
That's where all that shit comes from anyway.
To bring it even more full circle, if Subaru can rebrand themselves as the company of love and puppies and whatever, and they make attack helicopters, why can't nuclear power have the same rebranding?
Well, Kawasaki does that too. Like Kawasaki Heavy Industries makes ships and warplanes. It's like motorcycles they do for fun.
Right.
They don't even make money off motorcycles. They're like, yeah, we're building battleships.
Wasn't it the same thing with DuPont? Like, isn't that
Probably.
Tupperware, but not really, but also other stuff?
A lot of these companies, like they're doing, their real money is in something else.
Right.
Like I remember George Steinbrenner, right, owner of the Yankees, famously when Reggie Jackson was talking shit to George Steinbrenner, he said, Reggie, you have a boat. I build ships. Like, just let's not get confused as to who is rich and powerful here.
Reggie Jackson,
this
famous
baseball
car
thing,
guy.
Yeah, this little baseball thing is just a hobby for me.
Right.
His car collection famously burned down.
Oh, it did?
Like in the 90s, early 2000s. I think I was living in the Bay Area or close to it. Yeah, he had like a big warehouse that burned down.
Ever hang out with Reggie? See his cars?
No, I have an autographed jersey that I got, but I never met him. I met Dave Winfield, who's a great guy,
Big man.
Yeah, I met Dave Winfield.
Not to you, but everyone else.
No, I asked him what he thought of Aaron Judge, right? Because I was like, this
Big
is the second coming of you, and he was like, hey, he's a nice young man, fine young man, like. Dave Winfield famously drafted in 3 professional sports.
Yeah,
I think he's the
athlete.
only guy that's ever happened with.
Yeah, my Dave Winfield story was we were going to go play the Hollywood celebrity game in Chicago. Me and Jimmy were going down there. I don't know, it was All-Star Weekend or something. I don't remember about this. I don't remember exactly what it was, but we were there, and our pitcher was going to be the little petite blonde girl from like The Bachelor or something. She married the fireman and did in
Happy to say I can't
Colorado
help
or
you.
something like that. Anyway, she was all of 5'3" and 110 pounds. And I said to Jimmy, I go, if Dave Winfield, who was playing in the games, it was like pros and celebrities, and I go, he drives a comebacker at her, he's going to kill her. He's going to kill her.
Yeah.
And Jimmy goes, the jocks, the pros, they're not taking full swings. And I said, I know the mindset of a jock. They're under the lights. There's 35,000 people in the place. You put them up there. You take that big lollipop, just underhanded. They got one mode. They got swing. They don't have a half speed. He said, no, those guys aren't going to be trying. They're not going to be swinging hard. I was playing left field, and sure enough, she just lobbed one in, and I was playing left field. And he hit that fucking softball so fucking far, I didn't even move. I just watched it. Like, I
Sail
could
over your
hear
head.
it make a noise as it just, and I remember thinking, there you go. He's not taking a full cut. He just hit a softball out of a major league ballpark. We were at Comiskey, I think, at the time.
That's funny.
They
'Cause
went full 6'6". I think a half swing would put someone on their ass.
I've seen that.
People don't swing halves. It's just like you don't do it. It's like you take a cut, man. You're up there.
It's always funny in baseball when the outfielders know when they don't move, they just look
Right.
up. Like the minute they hit the bat, they're like, "Yeah, that's gone.
That was a-
I'm
that
not
was a-
even. I'm not even turning around."
That was a Barry Bonds move. He did that a lot.
Right. There's a,
Just
I
sit
don't
there
know.
with his hands
We'll
on his knees.
find a tape of that. There's a tape of that somewhere, but I'll find it. Not for today, but yeah, I was playing left field. I got Jim McMahon out. He hit a long, kind of lazy fly, foul territory. Just sort of drifted over and got McMahon out.
Wow.
Was
excited about it.
he wearing shoes when he played?
Wearing shades.
Probably shades and no shoes? Yeah.
Yeah.
Reggie lost 35 cars, totaling over $3 million in a warehouse fire in 1988.
88. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's had 3 properties leveled by fire.
Oh, my
One was
God.
the car warehouse.
Got to get one of those pumps for his pool.
Seriously.
and then
At
his
what
house
point
burned
does
down
his
twice.
insurance company say, "Hey, Reggie"?
Hey, Reggie.
Yeah.
Pull you aside.
So, by the way, it's like when your third wife drowns in the bathtub, at some point you got to start sniffing around,
It's a red
right?
flag.
It's a coincidence. I don't know.
A few more questions.
Right. All right, let's do one more.
All right. Well, this story is getting some traction. It's pretty interesting. Spain's literary world thrown a curveball after this coveted book prize was awarded to Carmen Mola. She's this popular female thriller writer. Very mysterious. Nobody really knows much about her except that, she's supposed to be like this, lives this quiet life. She has a husband and children in Madrid. Turns out she is 3 dudes.
Oh, JT Leroy.
Yeah, she is 3 television screenwriters or scriptwriters, Augustine Martinez, Jorge Diaz, and Antonio Mercero. They shocked guests who included Spain's king and queen when they revealed this celebrated crime author didn't exist when they came to accept the award. On the website for Mola's agent, she's described as this Madrid-born author. She writes under a pseudonym to remain anonymous. Very held in high esteem by female, feminists and female university professors. They're all shocked by this. Many call this a scam and a fraud. In 2020, a regional branch of the Women's Institute included Mola's work as part of a selection of feminist reading alongside a Canadian poet and a Spanish writer. They are not happy.
Well, they should have been on to her when the first chapter read, it's not the size of the boat, but the motion of the ocean. They should have known at that point that
Talk
was
about a red
3
flag.
dudes
Dead
writing.
giveaway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've said, look, I wanted to change my name to Jules Dash so I could get some movies into Sundance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a time. That's a business decision,
Isn't that why, or is this just an urban legend? Isn't that why Jamie Foxx changed his name to Jamie Foxx?
Yes. That's supposedly he would get booked on more stand-up gigs
Right.
because they
Not
give priority
knowing.
to the females.
Oh,
But
really?
I-
I
It's an
didn't know
androgynous
that.
name.
Yeah.
I wonder, and maybe you can help me with this, Gina, as a woman.
Okay.
Does it invalidate the writing that it was 3 guys? In other words, if this writing
Yeah.
is feminist
I hear
and
ya.
strong and women are like, oh, we love these ideas, whatever it is, does that become invalid because 3 men wrote it?
To feminist university professors, absolutely. Don't you think?
Problematic
Yeah.
is what they're going to call it.
And I think you're right. I mean, the writing's the writing. It's all kind of one of these, well, how do you like that? But people who were holding up this mystery thriller writer as, part of the feminist movement, I'm sure,
They're
very
big,
angry.
they're big on their face. They
I
feel-
thought you were going to say they found out she's married to Banksy.
Oh,
God.
Wouldn't
God, that'd be a
great?
reveal.
Like
Yeah.
an author
To do.
we've never seen is married to Banksy, and you're like, oh man, this kid's going to be amazing.
This kid's not even going to have a face.
Yeah, where the hell is Banksy? Where's
I don't know.
Banksy live? Does anyone know?
Chris, find that out.
Probably riding around a motorcycle with a full face motorcycle.
But didn't we do a story where he was sitting on a sidewalk in Brooklyn and selling his own art but that was he was trolling everyone because they didn't know that was really him. He loves this shit.
Yeah, he does that. There's no doubt Banksy sees he's watching this. Like he's
Right.
at the auction when his painting
When the remote control goes off.
rips up.
Right.
Yeah, which that thing went for $25 million. But why not, right? If you could do that, wouldn't that be fun?
Yes.
to be that great. And, it's like when they have the concert violinists go down in the subway and play to see if anyone realizes, like, wow, you're really good.
Right. Yeah, Jamie Fallon and Miley Cyrus go down in wigs. And
do you think Banksy has an agent?
Yes.
And do you think his agents ever had a conversation with him where he's like, look, I know the answer is no, but as an agent, I've kind of fiduciary duty to bring it up. And it's pretty substantial. So I just thought I'd bring it up to you, so don't blame the messenger. But KFC reached out to us.
You want to be one of the colonels?
Could you draw a chicken?
Like, now, just hear me out, because the amount of money they're talking about.
Dancing with the Stars.
I have to bring you offers. Right. It came in. What do you want me to do? It was a lot of money. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Like, do you think he brings him anything? What was his agent doing? Is it all art brokering? Is there somebody throwing a party that wants Banksy there?
I think the agent knows his ethos. I think that's why he's his agent, because he trusts him not to waste his time.
Right, because not only would he fire you, he'd have to kill you.
That's right.
Because you know who Banksy is. So
right.
the next agent, it would be like, okay, your first job
is to bury the
to
old
kill that guy.
Right.
And then you get commission on and you'd be like, well, he got to go.
Right.
Do you think when he pisses his agent off, his agent calls him by his real name? Hey, all right, Keith Wasserman. I'll bring that back to KFC. Keith.
No, you know who does that? His wife.
His
wife. Like, Banksy, yeah.
Yep.
Listen, Joseph.
Right.
All right, you might impress them with your little paintings.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Bankstein.
That weekend, they're going up the Mulholland.
Yeah.
And they're going to race.
Who didn't go full leader of the pack off the cliff?
And people would go off the cliff. That's the whole point. People go like, we're going up, we're doing a Mulholland run.
Jesus.
And these people had parents.
It was okay because the cars had so much safety equiment built in.
Right, crumple zones and airbags.